Hello everyone, this is Dr. Nilofer Kauri with my new presentation on paradox. So again I have begun this presentation with a picture which shows very much paradoxical comment. Want to sleep, have to work, want to work, have to sleep. Like in our lives also, we have so many things, we have so many paradoxes facing each and every day, but they actually carry some deep meaning. So let's begin with the definition. Paradox is a seemingly absurd or contradictory statement or proposition which, when investigated, may prove to be well founded or true. A person or thing that combines contradictory features or quality. So, paradox, a very absurd or contradictory statement which seems very absurd, which seems very contradictory on its surface, or proposition which, when investigated, when we talk about it, when we clearly investigate it, when we go into deep into the statement, it proves to be a very well founded and true statement, and the person or thing or the sentence, it carries contradictory features or qualities. A paradox is also known as antinomy, is a logically self-contradictory statement or a statement that runs contrary to one's expectation. So when we go into further elaboration of the definition, or when we look at the other definitions, paradox is, which is also known as antinomy, it is a logically self-contradictory statement or a statement that runs contrary to one's expectation. Like we do not expect that it is going to happen, and like when we talked about this, want to sleep, have to work, want to work, have to sleep, seems so contradictory, seems so absurd, doesn't carry any meaning on surface, but when we go into deep, we understand it. Okay, so it is a logically self-contradictory statement or a statement that runs contrary to one's expectations. It is a statement that, despite apparently valid reasoning from true premises, leads to a seemingly self-contradictory or logically unacceptable conclusion. So, so in spite of these apparently valid reasoning from true premises, when we go into deep discussion and when we find that actually it carries very deep meaning, it leads to a seemingly self-contradictory or logically unacceptable conclusion. So the conclusions which are logically not accepted, but actually it carries some meaning. So the term paradox is originated from the Greek word paradoxon, which means contrary to expectations, existing beliefs, or perceived opinion. So it is not already founded into the beliefs which we are already having in our lives. It is a statement that appears to be self-contradictory or silly, but which may include a latent truth. It is also used to illustrate an opinion or statement contrary to accepted traditional ideas. So the traditional ideas which are already established in the society, and we always follow them, but when we talk something contrary, when we do something opposite to that, we are laughed at, or we are like people who are creating chaos into the lives. So in the same way, these sentences, they are something which attract attention by doing something different. A paradox is often used to make a reader think over an idea in an innovative way. That is an important thing. So here we begin with the examples. The first example which I have taken, again I want to explain it with the help of this picture. I am a paradox. No, you are not. Exactly. I am a paradox. Exactly. The first figure is saying I am a paradox. You are not. Okay, a person is saying I am a paradox, I am self-contradictory. Other is saying no, you are not self-contradictory. Like very absurd, doesn't carry any meaning on surface when you look at. But when we will give it to into elaboration, illustrations, it will be like let's move on to this second picture. It will make it more clear. It says no stopping. Okay, this board says, this signboard says no stopping, and here is a cross mark that you are not supposed to stop here, and this is the end of the road. So this is the end, and you are not going to stop here. Okay, very absurd. One more example. Primitive road, no warning sign. So this road is undeveloped and You are not supposed to put any warning signs here, and this board itself is a warning sign. Okay, again a paradox. So let's move on to general examples from our lives, day to day life. A very common saying, your enemy's friend is your enemy. Your enemy's friend is your enemy. Like, seems very, what is this? Okay. The next is, I am nobody. This is very important thing. I am nobody. I am nobody. If you are nobody, how come you are sitting here? How come you are existing here? How come you are here? But when it says I am nobody, it carries a very deep meaning that I do not have any existence of my own on this earth. It belongs to someone else. Then next, a very famous statement of George Bernard Shaw. He says, what a pity that youth must be wasted on the young. So it's quite pitiable. It's quite a pity that the young are wasting their lives on the young people. Means the youth has to do so many things for the society, and what they are doing, they are just killing their time with another young people. Wise fool, quite a wise fool he is. Truth is honey, which is bitter. Truth is honey. Honey has a tendency of being sweet. Okay, honey is very sweet, but when it is truth and you call it honey, because ultimately the results or ultimately what comes out of the truth is very sweet, or it's very substantial. So truth is honey, which bitter. But at that present moment when the truth is being declared to someone, it feels bitter. If one know nothing, it's that I know nothing. Sorry, if I know one thing, that's I know nothing. So this is again a very contradictory statement that I know only one thing, that I know. मुझे कुछ नहीं पता भाई. Okay. Here are the rules. Ignore all the rules. Then nobody goes to the restaurant. It's too crowded. So when nobody goes to the restaurant, how come it is going to be too crowded? Again, a very foolish statement. Fair is foul, foul is fair. Remember the witches in Macbeth? Fair is foul, foul is fair. Doesn't carry any meaning on the surface. Like when you will see fair is foul, if fair is foul, how come foul can be fair? So, but when we go into the deep, and when we read the whole drama Macbeth, we understand what it actually means. Now let's move on to examples of paradox in literature. Okay, and a very famous and very often quoted example from George and Orwell's Animal Farm. It says, all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. This statement seems to make any sense? It does not. However, on closer examination, it becomes clear that Orwell points out a political truth, because Animal Farm is all about a political truth. Government in the novel claims that everyone is equal, but it has never treated everyone equally. We can see into our day-to-day lives, in today's politics also. We don't need to go to those ages of Russian Revolution and all. It is the concept of equality stated in this paradox that is opposite to the common belief of equality. But in society, we do not believe that everyone is equal. There are classes made by we people only. So when we say all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others, it seems very contradictory. Excuse me. Again, a very famous example from Shakespeare's Hamlet, which says, I must be cruel to be kind. Again, the announcement seems to make no sense. Well, how can an individual treat others kindly even when he is cruel? That we cannot expect any kindness from those who are cruel. However, Hamlet is talking about his mother and how he intends to kill Claudius to avenge his father's death. When we read the drama, we will understand that how deep meaning it carries. Again, very famous line from Wordsworth, child is the father of man. Child is the father of man. Child is the father of man, but my father is not a child. Okay, my heart leaps up when I behold, from William Wordsworth. This statement has a seemingly incorrect supposition, but when we look deep into its meaning, we see the truth. The poet is saying that the childhood experiences become the basis for all adult occurrences. When we grow up, we rethink about our childhood experiences and we understand what we could have done in these situations. The childhood of a person shapes his life and consequently fathers or creators of the grown up adult. So when we grow up, when we become fathers, mothers, grown ups, adults, we have in our minds our childhood days, and our childhood shapes our personality, our future personality. It carries a very important place in our lives. So child is the father of man. Next, John Donne. Death thou shalt die. Holy Sonnet 11 by John Donne. On the surface, this seems like a grim line. Death thou shalt die? How shall death we die? Death is not a concept. Death is just a concept. It's not a living being which is going to die. Quite the contrary though. What Donne is really saying is that upon death, heaven is imminent. And in heaven, death shall die. In heaven, there is no death. Once you die from this earth, and one you reaches to the heaven or the ultimate life, the life after life, there is no death. That is the ultimate life. That is the ultimate. After life, we get our ultimate destination. So, and in heaven, death shall die, because you are no longer at the mercy of your inevitable demise. Death is inevitable. Inevitable. We all know. We cannot ignore death. Okay, one can live for 110 years, 120 years, but ultimately one has to die. Okay, so but after going from this earth, when we reach to that death, life after death, that is ultimate, and there is no concept of death in the life after death. There won't be any doomsday. There won't be any after, like when we have reached that destination, when we have gone into the heaven, we will not come back, but we will not die. When you remove the morbid veneer, this is actually a statement of hope. Okay. Again, George Orwell's 1984, war is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. Okay, all the three state. War is peace. How can war be peace? But after war, war is fought to get peace. After war, there will be peace. Freedom is slavery. Freedom is slavery. How is freedom slavery? You are not free into your lives. When you are being ruled by someone, you are not free. You are told that you are free. You are a free person, but actually you are doing slavery to some other people. Ignorance is a strength. When ignorance is bliss, it is folly to be wise. Okay. Now let's. I hope these examples have made it quite clear what is paradox. Now the functions of paradox. To highlight the complexity of a certain situation or point out the fallacy of a widely held preconceived notion. Okay, a notion or an idea which has been preconceived in the society, which has been widely accepted in the society, it points out the fallacies or the faults or the flaws or the shortcomings of those notions. To allude to an apparent contradiction and suggest that it might reveal a greater truth if it can be resolved. Okay, to allude, to gather an apparent contradiction. Okay, to create a contradictory situation and suggest that it might reveal a greater truth, it can be resolved. It's like a puzzle. Okay, if you solve the puzzle, you will get a deep meaning, and if you cannot, it is nothing for you. The statement is nothing for you if you cannot understand it. To point out, challenge or satirize contradictions in the world. Okay, the challenges, point out the challenges, that the world is full of challenges, and satirize the contradictions in the world, to create a satire on the contradictory situations in the world. To craft a word puzzle that draws the readers in and demands their attention, to attract the attention of the readers and give them a riddle. If your class is getting bored, give them a puzzle, give them a riddle to solve, and they will find it interesting, and this will draw their attention to the class also. In the same way, artists, literary artists, poets, what they often do, they create such puzzles so that readers can be involved in that work all the time. And to add humor to a work by making a witty observations. Okay, paradox cannot be without any wit. If you have do not have that kind of wit in your minds, you cannot create paradoxes, and after creating paradoxes, you add humor to the work. So to conclude, we can say paradoxes have important implication in the world of literature. They take aim at the overall theme. Take George Orwell for example. George Orwell has many often taken paradoxes in consideration. Animal Farm was all about class distinction and inequalities. With one paradoxical line, he highlighted what was true for him. So it was about class distinction and inequalities. And when we talk about that one single line, that all animals are equal, but some are more equal to another, means some are more privileged. Some people in this system, in this whole political scenario, are more important than others, and this is very clear in all the politics, all kind of situations, political situations in the world, throughout the world, wherever you may go, you will find such paradoxical situations that the leaders, they always say all are equal, but some are more privileged. Like in a class also, we have a class of 40 students, let's say, and all are equal for the teacher, but some who are close to teacher are more privileged. Teacher will give them special attentions. If they will ask for special notes, teacher will favor them. Teacher, if they will ask teacher for any other help, teacher will love to do that, because they are the favorite students. Okay, so they are more equal than to others. So in the same way, in Animal Farm also, George Orwell has created these it very clear by giving distinctions, examples of distinctions and inequalities. With one paradoxical line, he highlighted what was true for him. Okay, you can have the zeal of the whole politics of the world in that one line. All animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. Okay, so I have concluded this one again paradoxical line by Paul Coelho, the writer of very famous writer in these days of Alchemist. He says, my literature is much more the result of a paradox than that of an implacable logic. Typical of Paulist novels, the paradox is the tension that exists in my soul. So what he wants to say is the literature he writes is the result of the paradoxes or the contradictory situations he finds in the typical of Paulist novels. Okay, and in the logic, it cannot be replaced by the logic. The paradoxes he has in his mind cannot be replaced by any logic, because when you will come to find the logic and you will try to find the logic, you cannot find the logic, because there is nothing logical in the paradoxes. So, and in the typical novels, Paulist novels, the suspense novels, the horror thriller novels, you do not find paradoxes, because paradox cannot create suspense of those kinds, thrill of those kinds, but it gives us time to rethink over some certain things, few certain things, like Paul Coelho says that the paradox is the tension that exists in my soul. If we have the tensions, if we have the contradictions in our souls, we can easily understand the paradoxes, we can easily understand the contradictory situations which are before us, but we cannot realize them. Okay, so that's all. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for watching the video. Thank you very much for listening to the whole concept. We'll meet soon in another concept. If you like the video, if it was useful for it, informative for you, for all of you, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.